Welcome to an episode of, well, it's not really Caster's Couch. I feel like it's kind of like Vibe Check.
It is Vibe Check.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh
I
my
certainly
God.
can't call myself a caster.
No.
Or anything.
No.
I mean, I can turn into a couch when I've gotten too high.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what?
If you sink in enough.
If you sink in enough, you just become the couch, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've gotten that feeling a couple times where I feel like the entire world is just closing in around me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start hyperventilating. This is why I don't
That's
do
called
drugs.
anxiety.
Oh.
Yeah.
That also
That
can happen
happens
when
on
you're
a
really
couch.
high,
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
Well,
an old PCU bit. The guy who's just on the couch forever.
Yeah.
People don't think about the movie PCU enough anymore.
What is a
Oh, dude.
PCU?
I don't remember what PCU stands for, actually. It's got Jeremy Piven.
PC
Who?
University.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that what it is?
Get it?
Yeah.
That does add up. And people thought the culture war started in the 2000s.
Oh, man.
Jeremy Piven.
Jeremy Piven.
Jeremy
started back
Piven.
in PCU.
All right, well, for the 5 people who didn't, or for the 5, I think only 5 people got the Vibe Check joke.
Sure.
Because that was the amount of G4 fans that we had. You may notice that we don't have Captain Flowers and Raz today, and that's because Raz went off to London, bruv,
Wow.
to go do MSI, and Flowers is also heading to London eventually to go do MSI, so I decided to bring back some of the core G4 fans.
The C team.
The C team?
Yeah.
Yes, we are the C team.
Because technically, no, I was going to say Case's name starts with a C.
That's true.
Case
My
Blackwell.
middle name is Charles, so that
There you
works.
go.
C.
There we go, and we have good old Charles.
Yep.
No other name.
I'm Charles
Just
now.
Charles. You could have
I've
used
avoided my father's name, and here I am. I'm Charles now.
Charles, this stuff.
you could have used
Finisher.
Completionist. You could have
that
used
does start with a C.
Completion is better.
Yeah, that is what
Completionist
most
is
You know
people
what?
say.
No, I'm too late. I'm Charles now.
used Charles.
I'm
now.
Charles now.
And then of course,
At least I'm not in charge. That's a good thing. So
yeah, that's. Listen, I have to always be in charge
Yes.
whenever we do this podcast. And
big
I don't
fan of the
know.
show. I watch it all the time.
Yeah, let's dive into that.
Yeah.
You watch this podcast
Of course.
because
Yeah.
you think it's entertaining or because you support Friends?
I support you.
I'm going to do this couch move real quick.
Yeah, Case didn't sell it quite as well.
You're like, yeah.
I've seen clips of the show.
Oh, thank you so much.
I love how I it's so funny when I started watching the podcast. Ovilee is bringing all these guests, and I'm like, "Hey, Ovilee, let me know when you want me to come in for the show." She's, yeah, no problem. 3 months later, I'm here, and it's to replace the other 2 boys. So we did it.
That's
did
how
it,
I get
everyone.
every job. Is I'm
Yeah,
replacing someone.
yeah.
Absolutely. I'll take it.
We have flowers at home. Flowers at home.
Flowers at home.
Yeah.
I was trying to save you. I think I was trying to save you for when the Mario movie came out,
Which we.
and then it was just
I have bad
weeks-
news, Ovilee. The movie's been out for a month now.
for like months.
Yeah.
It did
Weeks
pretty
Thresh.
good.
Yeah. Oh, Thresh is making his appearance.
Is he allowed to be on the show?
He's allowed to be
Yes.
on the show.
He's
yes.
executive producer, actually.
He is. He's making sure he's like
Cosplaying
smelling.
Robin Hood.
He's like smelling for socks. He's smelling for all these things. I don't think all of us were ever on an episode of Vibe Check together.
I was never on Vibe.
You were never on Vibe. How are you never on Vibe Check?
A travesty.
He was working on the actual tag of the
yeah,
show.
it was because it was the day before our real
It
show.
was, right,
and
yeah.
He had to
Yes.
work all day.
Oh.
And I got on Vibe Check most of the time because X-Play would air before, and most of the time, like Will or Gina or Fiona would like fall asleep and or miss their call time or couldn't make it. So then I'd like halfway through my show, my IFP, Beth or Vanessa would be like, "Hey, you want to be on Vibe Check?" And I'd go, "Mm-hmm." And then I'd be done with X-Play and just walk into the Vibe Check set and start Vibe Check.
I'd know it was on if I like heard a scream really far in the distance. That was one of the screamy. Kevin would just let out guttural yells. At you.
Oh,
He would
I'm
do the
pretty
entire
sure that he
studio.
tried his best to get that show canceled.
He might have tried to get the whole network canceled, and he
Yes.
succeeded.
I mean,
Successfully.
you know what? Kevin Pereira succeeded. He
Yeah.
did it.
When he gets his mind on something, he gets it done.
You got to respect the KP hustle, man.
Yeah.
It never stops.
Have you seen what he's doing now with his podcast?
His AI podcast.
Yeah.
AI for Humans, I believe it's called.
AI for Humans.
Check it out.
Shout out to Kevin Pereira, former G4 Attack of the Show host, twice now, and former Vibe Check host.
The White Bill Bellamy.
Absolutely.
Kevin,
Who?
Wow.
Kevin will get that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been pushing that nickname really hard himself. He just won't stop.
I gotta learn more about these references because even
You know
throughout
what?
all of
Yeah,
G4,
also,
I never learned.
That was a Charles in Charge reference from Jirard, and it just
Yes.
went way over
Yep.
your head.
It's
Well,
correct. Thank you, Ian. Thank you. And Charles in Charge is like about 10 years before me. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fact that never mind.
Yes. This Gen Z had no shot at that one.
I'm learning so many. Listen. Maybe people just don't know things.
That was rough that I started this whole thing with a PCU.
It was great though. I was
Kids
good.
love PCU. Come on.
Listen, this is just me trying to cross our worlds, okay?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
most of our fans are League of Legends fans, so they don't know.
Oh, in
of-
that case, hey, is this camera?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
you right there.
Hey, I'm Jirard the Completionist. I've been on YouTube for 12 years. I've been completing a game a week every week, and I hate it. I also was a host on XPlay.
Yes, he was.
I co-created the show God of Work, where I
yeah.
shaved my head and played a a-hole version of Kratos. Look, Kratos is already an a-hole, but a more modern version, if you will. And then I was also an executive at G4 until the ship exploded.
Oh, so it's your fault.
So send
I'll
your
take
hate
the
mail
blame.
to
Yeah.
So it's your fault.
Guys, I just said, you know what? What if we just exploded the whole thing?
What if we just, didn't renew Ovilee and then
Hey,
tried to
hold
do
on.
esports?
Let's talk about that. Let's talk
Okay,
about
so
that for a
some
second.
moves were good. All
No,
right.
let's talk about this. Let's talk about this.
What? Okay, are we
So
talking about
I
it?
got.
Are we talking about
let's
it?
talk about it.
Let's
'cause
talk about
I've
it.
never told anyone this story.
You
This-
got
Okay, I'm
Ovilee
excited
fired.
for
I
the story.
knew it
no,
was
the
Jirard.
I'm
exact
excited for the story.
opposite. So
Also, I would introduce myself, but it's
yes.
basically the same as
No.
It's
this is Case. He is Case the Completionist.
Go watch
he's-
Ovilee. Go watch Ovilee because Case has like a rap battle with Captain Flowers, and it's freaking amazing.
I was like, if I can freestyle kind of because I used to do improv, and
Yeah.
Captain Flowers can freestyle way better than me.
Flowers is pretty good.
Yeah.
There's creative wires in there that are just working overtime
Yeah.
at all hours of the day. But go ahead. Let's hear this story that you've never told.
So this is like around, I want to say around May, right after God of Work, right after God of Work or right before God of Work in March. I had just gotten promoted as an executive at G4, and Ovilee was about to announce to everyone that she was not being renewed.
Yeah.
So I called you. We talked on the phone for 2 hours, and my whole thing was, how do I get you to stay? And you were not having it. You did not want to stay no matter what it was. And I was like, is it money? Is it respect? You're like, it's everything. And I was like, what can I do to try and fix it? And you were like, if you can get me more money and more respect.
Yeah.
And then I went back to the table and it was crickets.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that sucks because Ovilee's amazing. And but I think by the time, before I even told you what they had said, you had told me, "Oh, I don't want it." You were very far removed.
So it's because the whole process of trying to do the contract renewal, they basically told me to go fuck myself.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Strong
Well,
bargaining
and you weren't the only one. So it was a very like,
yeah.
there was a baseline of like, if we didn't like the talent, they can just we just won't renew their contract. There'll be no
Exactly.
room
Yeah.
for negotiating.
Exactly. Well, spoiler alert, I found out that all of the women were making half of what the men were making.
Sexism in gaming.
that is very true.
I found out from Ovilee that was the case.
I found it
didn't-
from everyone. That was the
Yeah,
case.
I didn't know until she told me.
Yeah. So speak with your coworkers of all
Yeah.
different backgrounds. Speak with your
Communication.
coworkers. So I found out. So I just said, okay, pay me what the men make. No, we can't do that.
Can't do it.
I'm like,
We crunched the numbers.
okay. So then I said this. I said, okay. I said, with the exception of your yacht club,
Yacht Club Games.
with the exception of your yacht club games event showcase.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just,
Which was great.
No, you're good.
which
Oh,
was
thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
And with the exception of Austin Show, because Austin Show is 60,000 people watching, whatever. I came up with the esports show that fucking killed it. Fucking killed it.
I remember that.
And everyone's telling me it was the Lost Ark event. And everyone's like, we need more of this. We'll pay for more of this. Da da da. And I'm like, great. Just renew my contract and pay me as much as you will pay my male counterpart. No, we're not going to do that. Also, fuck you. And I'm like, okay. So they don't want me back.
The fuck you was implied.
Well, yeah.
Well, I think there was 3 things that like factor for you specifically outside of like that, right?
And I have
The-
10
Yeah.
more right after he's done.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
No, it's not about like, Ovilee, this is why you didn't get it. It's more
Honestly,
No. It's more
I
like
smell.
at that point when your contract
First
was.
of all, you're a bitch. Second of all,
You suck. Third, you didn't bring Thresh to work. Come on.
That is a tangent, Jirard.
yeah.
We couldn't bring any of our dogs.
We couldn't bring any of our dogs to work.
anyway, Jirard, continue.
At the time that you were being renewed, we were about to go through our first wave of people getting let go. So like there was obviously a pipeline of money was already an issue because we weren't making enough. So like renewal time, I think before we signed on, all of us in our own ways, there was money everywhere. And then once they signed all of us, the money was gone because it was going.
There was? I should have gotten some of that.
Yeah. Me and Casey were just producers, so we didn't have any fucking
for the
money.
talent, I will say
Yeah.
the talent and the executives, I'm sure. And so that was the first thing, was like the wave of people getting let go was like about to happen. I didn't know about that. None of us knew, but like it came pretty swiftly, and we all were very, very sad and continued to be sad over the course of many months. And then it happened again and again. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I think there was a bottleneck between you and the executive level of like where your complaints were being, like you were coming up with legit complaints, real issues, real problems that were just somehow being diverted into a void that and I know how it got there, but it was definitely a situation of there was one or two people that specifically actively worked against you to put all of those things into that void. And so I would go to meetings and I'd speak on your behalf. And people in the room would go, "This is the first time we're hearing of it," and I'd go, "It's not my idea. It was Ovilee's." Or like, "There's a communication problem here. I'm here to find out where the communication problem broke down." And then third, it was too little, too late. By the time I found out what was going on and like what I could do, the bus had already left, and that was just me being like, "How can I get Ovilee to come back? I'll give you part of my salary, whatever." I tried, and no one was having it. So
Yeah, no, it was. I think that they had already decided this like a year into my contract or something. Because
I think they had buyer's remorse with you. I think they saw you as someone who, and I say the general they, even though I know who it is.
He's talking about himself.
Me. It was me all along, Ovilee. I'm taking full
Saying that-
responsibility.
I took your paycheck.
It was me. No, it was very evident that there were powers that were working against you on so many levels.
So I think that just at the core concept of how G4 esports was supposed to be treated and how it was created, like it was flawed from the beginning, because you had one person at the top saying, "I want esports content," telling his people, "Go make esports content." And then the people that were just told make esports content, they're like, "This is fucking stupid. We're not going to make esports content."
This is just a bunch of people playing games.
Yeah, they're like, "We broadcasted Pong for 24 hours. That's esports. League of
Have
Legends."
you seen Lube Chef? We've got
stupid.
really high standards.
We've got Lube Chef. So it was like esports was doomed from the start, because every single time we were told, "Hey, you have like $1,000, go make a show." And we're like, "Okay, cool. I made a show. I made it for $700. This is great." And they're like, "This is shit. This is shit. We're not gonna put it on TV. We're not gonna like let you use any of the talent for it. We don't want you to do this and this." And so when I was brought on, I told them, I was like, "Hey, happy to do the esports stuff, but my main goal with joining G4 is I would love to branch out to do X Play or Attack of the Show. I feel like I can fit in with some of those pieces, right?" And they're like, yeah, sure. And then I found out later that one of the producers that shall not be named, one of the producers on the esports team was basically like, went to the other producers and told them, "Do not use Ovilee for any other content except for esports. She needs to stay under esports. She's my little pawn."
My Little Pony.
Why?
My little pony, my little pony.
I just mean so many things at G4, to throw more 90s movies references in there, was like the steamroller scene from Austin Powers.
Yes.
Like where the guy's just waiting to get hit by the thing. He's like, "No!" It's just a really slow moving car. But I feel like
Cutting back.
by the time I was there, the guy was already getting run over. But no one was mentioning like, "Hey, we're getting squished. We're getting actively murdered."
Do you remember the creative space?
Yes.
Oh my God. Do you remember when I got in trouble for the cameras?
Yes.
Well, it's funny.
I got to
'cause
tell that story. Go ahead.
Well, you and Kevin were both like, "There are cameras here." In the beginning, I was like, "All right, guys, relax. It's just cameras." But the woman who was responsible for the creative space was doubling down on like they're ruining my property.
Real
And then I went,
Yeah.
okay, no, it's time to get rid of the cameras. Like,
So-
this lady's crazy. Something's going on.
So this is what happened.
That
So-
beautiful space.
Oh my God, they were so crazy.
To be clear, guys, the space. Well, you can tell it.
We were
I'm
in
gonna tell
someone's
that.
home. It was clearly someone's home.
It was ridiculous. So basically, G4, as we all know, spent like $20+ million on this brand spanking new studio that was going to be utilized for 10 years. Less than a year. And so before we were able to move into it, because it was still under construction, COVID delays, we had 2 different spaces that we were utilizing. A random studio where we're doing Beach House, and then this small little creative space, which was honestly just kind of like an office with a couple different rooms that was nearby one of the extra studios that we were renting. When you walk into this office, it doesn't really feel like an office. It's just kind of like a big room. It's kind of weird. It's in between all of these other studios in Burbank, but it worked for what we were trying to do, which was just having brainstorm meetings, chemistry, and just talking and stuff.
A lot of our improv training would go on
Improv.
there, writer sessions.
Exactly. And that's the important thing. Improv was going on where people are saying anything. Writer sessions and brainstorm sessions are going on where people are saying anything. They'll say things for shock. They'll say things just to get creative juices going. They'll say stupid shit that they would never ever broadcast.
It's where a lot of our bonding happened.
Yes.
And you could definitely see who took it seriously and who didn't at all.
Absolutely.
Like, you definitely saw, like, it was the same set of people who showed up all the time. And then there was definitely folks who did not show up at all.
Yeah.
And,
I was only there for a week.
I know.
Well, yours
But I
was-
lived in
You-
Chicago.
you
Yeah,
lived
yeah,
there, yeah.
Whacker.
So basically like a week into being in this creative space, me and Kevin start noticing that there are like those little Ring cameras all over the room, and they're all pointed in, right? And so I have a couple Ring cameras. I use them to babysit my dog and make sure that everything's okay.
And typically in a writer's room, you don't have a camera there unless you're doing a behind-the-scenes
No.
documentary making, because, like, you're going to say things that are very offensive or
Yes.
not necessarily offensive, but you don't know it's culturally insensitive, and you have to get out there to check each other. Like, if I say something racist without realizing it, you're going to go, hey, Jirard, don't do that.
Or
Or
same
that's...
problem Steven Crowder just had. You know, you got it even in your own house.
Topical humor from Face Blackwell. That's fresh.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you know, you never know when it's on.
You never know when it's on.
Sometimes you're just having a normal conversation
You,
with,
with your soon-to-be ex-wife.
Your wife stops her wifely duty.
Well, you don't want to
Yeah,
give,
wifely
you don't wanna
duties.
give your dog these poisonous pills.
You don't give her a car. That might get caught on camera.
Sorry, to digression.
Sorry, so
No,
sorry.
it's very important. So some of these cameras are like hidden in pots, and some of them are just kind of like draped over the entryway and everything.
Which I think you legally can't do that. You
No!
have to say, smile, you're on camera.
Maybe that's more for businesses, but yes,
Well, and
exactly.
We are at a studio
I do,
office
but
that
that's
is
a law that you have to
Yeah.
say exactly that.
Well, like at my office, we have a thing outside that says you're on camera with a
Yeah.
smiley
I think
face,
you have
and
to,
like
yeah.
you have to disclose that there are cameras in the workspace. It is
Yeah.
a requirement, not for security purposes, but for like the essence of if you come into here,
Exactly.
just know that you are
Yeah.
being taped.
And so if you've never used a Ring camera before, if the light is red, someone is actively watching. The light was red multiple times when we were in that space. So basically, I start hearing from some of the other talent where they're going like, oh, I don't feel comfortable with that. That's weird. Me being the confident asshole going like, okay, my coworkers feel uncomfortable. What are they going to do to me, right? So I start taking all the cameras down. I have to jump up to grab some of the cameras, and I just start facing them against the wall. I face them against the wall. I put one in a potted plant because, I don't know, I'm stupid. And I was just like, they will not watch anyone. They will not hear anyone, right? I don't want any of my coworkers to feel violated for their privacy, just as we were saying for like improv and all these writer stuff.
Yeah.
Fast forward a couple weeks, and I get hit up by one of the admin people at G4 saying that the woman who ran that studio had filed a complaint with our like legal department saying that I was vandalizing their cameras, vandalizing their workplace, and that she was potentially going to end our contract and agreement.
Oh no,
and
not
she
that
had
beautiful building.
she had screenshots of my face going like this, holding the cameras and bringing the cameras down, going like, this is your perpetrator. And so I told them, I said, listen, if all those cameras are up, I'm not showing up anymore because this is just, you can't do this. And I know
Yeah.
that there's a lot of other people who feel very uncomfortable too. This shouldn't happen for anyone.
Also, not to cut you off,
Please.
Ovilee, but let me tell you how businesses in California work when you live in Los Angeles. As a owner of a thing that you allow to lease out, you typically want someone to be in that building. There's not month to month is very rare. The idea is we want you to sign this long ass lease to be in this building. So the fact this woman is like, you're violating this, I theoretically would want you out. The reality is she didn't want you out. She didn't want any of us out. She wanted us to double down and fight and stay longer so she could basically go like, well, it's going to cost more money because you vandalized my stuff. In actuality, if we had left, she would have been like, okay, let's talk about removing the cameras. Like, because no one wants, if someone's like, hey, pay me 10 grand a month. Okay, cool. Suddenly, hey, I'm not going to pay you 10 grand anymore. Wait, why? No, come back. Give me the 10 grand. Like, that's exactly what this was.
Did you know that she had an office in the back of the office that she would just sit in?
She was there?
She was there the whole time.
Wow.
It was
Like
creepy
a secret
and it was
boss. Just back there.
It was creepy and weird.
You had to collect the right keys to unlock the door.
We should have her on the pod. Let's get her here.
Let's get her in
We
there.
should.
Let's find her out.
She walked up to me and she was like, "Who keeps putting these cameras like in the plants?"
Yeah.
And I go, "Oh, was I not supposed to?"
Maybe she
I was not supposed to.
Maybe she was a producer. Maybe that was a show they were trying to get off the ground at G4.
Oh.
Oh,
12 hosts failed to start a network.
12? We never had that many.
I think we had 10.
Too many.
Did we?
Too many hosts.
Frost, Corey, you, me, GB, Cassim, Fiona, Gina,
Will.
Creed, Will,
Kevin.
Sessler, Austin Show.
13.
Yeah.
I was being rude. I left one out.
For 3 shows?
I mean, honestly, to run a whole network, 13 hosts is not that much.
It was supposed to be a whole
ended up
network.
being just 3 shows.
To run a network? What network?
Well, sorry, to staff the shows on a network.
Yeah. I mean, but again, looking at what the products were, though, it wasn't just like a show, right? Like Attack of the Show was a 2 to 3 hour marathon of a show. X-Play, and that was once a week. X-Play at one point in the beginning was doing 2-hour shows
that.
Tuesdays and Fridays. And after we were done, we would do another 2 hours of recording VODs for YouTube and recording the interstitials for linear. That was nuts that we did that. That was crazy. So it wasn't just like 3 shows. It was like those 3 shows got cut and arranged for like 10 different products.
That's insane. I got a question.
Yes?
As soon as Ian left as producer on Attack of the Show, I stopped getting invitations to Attack of the Show.
That was me.
Is that you?
You're right. You caught me.
Why? Why would you do
I
that?
was like,
Another exclusive.
I was like, hey, I know you guys have never listened to me about any of this before, but no Ovilee.
I have one rule.
We have enough fucking Asians on this show. We've got Gina, and that's it.
I assumed when I got the job that Attack of the Show was going to be you and Kevin. This was my just naive assumption based
Why
on.
is that, Case?
I got this. You're the white guy. I got this.
Well,
Ovilee, you look very similar to someone who used to host Attack of the Show.
also your name is just so
Sarah
similar.
Underwood.
Candace Bailey.
Candace feels like a better, closer range. That feels very close
Are
to the
you
name.
saying I don't have boobs?
I mean, you can buy some. It's L.A.
Just like Sarah Underwood.
I just mean your name is so close to the other name too that I was like, oh, I guess they're like, just they're
The initials,
they're gonna,
It
the
would have been
first few
funny.
syllables. Yeah.
I don't know. And then I just saw your stuff. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. They're like going to use her and Kevin. And I guess then they'll have like side hosts. Mm-hmm. But then the thing we ended up doing was just like, there were just
Everyone was a
everyone
host.
was on the show and everyone was a host. I was just like, again, all of those moments where you're like, I don't think they know what's going on.
Which was hilarious for me because I always felt like I was the secret cast member of Attack of the Show, which I loved. I loved being on the show. It was always so much fun to be on it. But I was always like, I don't think I need to be here.
Well,
There's a lot of folks on this couch.
I mean, I loved all the hosts on the show, and it was still fun having it that way. But like, I mean, you mentioned that we did like 2 shows a week or something, but in my head, like for that show to get off the ground, it needed to happen 5 times a week.
Yes.
And you probably needed to build it around like 2 very front-facing cast members. You can still have other ones, but like it just blew my mind that they were just so reluctant to like coalesce that show
I think
around like two principal, or maybe even one principal like personality. And that's why when you left, I was so shocked, because our audience was basically telling us that like they reacted so well to you. I was like, why aren't they just leaning into this? This is insane.
We were counting the IAs in chat at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It was like literally like, hey, Ovilee, call for IAA. Let's see how many we can get.
Yeah.
Take it to analytics.
It is not an over-exaggeration in saying that I just made one person upset because I questioned how they were doing their job.
I just always assumed like executives would be more ruthless, and they'd be like, well, if this person's metrics are performing well, we'll just bite the bullet and take shit anyway. And that turned out to be not how it works. I was very surprised.
I mean, I think at the time that stuff really started to fall apart, a lot of people bailed.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it was I have you ever seen or heard of the TV/musical or the film/musical of The Wizard of Oz? Do you know what The Wizard of Oz? Yes, Wicked's the prequel to The Wizard of Oz.
Wicked.
Just
Idina Menzel.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. That's good. So, to me, G4 felt like there was no Oz behind the curtain. Mm-hmm. Like when we finally were like, "Who's in charge?" It was like there was literally a empty control panel with no one there, and it's because it felt that way for a lot of it. And the people who actually were in charge were like being pushed down the chain, and the people who were actually in charge at the top just had other things going on. And so you had this like weird dynamic of here's a group of people who want to change and make everything better. Here's the folks that disagree with that change, but also have no idea or intention to change anything. Mm-hmm. And so if both parties would fight and get in conflict, they'd walk away. And then all of us, the hosts and the producers, were being the kids in this relationship. We're like, so do we go outside and play now? Like, what do we do? And I think that's where you saw a lot of the spontaneous moments of us trying to fix things, like me with the Yacht Club's game showcase and God of Work, you with the ARC event,
taking my clothes off a lot,
dude.
Yeah, and rubbing lube all over
every
yourself.
day.
Yeah, just mostly doing nudes.
It was always good though.
Yeah,
Cake or Butthole was phenomenal.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Ian as what was it? The not basketball. No, the reoccurring character that we brought back for one episode. I think it was your last episode, Ian. You were in the huge...
Oh, the bear.
The bear.
That might have been the only episode that bear was on.
Yes.
On the reboot.
Yes. I wanted to see more... Fax Bear. That's who it was. Fax Bear.
Yeah, Fax Bear getting divorced by his wife.
That was so
Amber
good.
Heard trial.
Yes, that's right. All the body parts flying all over the place. I think I was one of the people throwing the body parts at one point during that scene.
It was a team effort.
Yeah.
Anytime people bring up G4, I can just rant for any amount of time.
Everyone can.
About just because so much was so confusing and weird. But I have come to the conclusion that I basically just don't know why. There's so many reasons you could point to for it not working, but
we'll talk.
I don't know. Pick your poison. Like there's just too many.
We'll talk after the podcast for things we can't say on here. But I feel like post G4, I think everyone's doing fine. I'm doing great. I'm doing stuff back in esports, and then also just taking little bits of breaks to take care of the wee baby boy after his ear surgery. You just had your charity stream that me and Gina popped onto. Mm-hmm. It was for preserved play.
Yep, for the Video Game History Foundation, trying to basically video games are important, you guys. In case you didn't know that,
really,
video game companies don't like preservation. They are very like, we don't care about our past. We only care about our present and future making money.
No one can prove climate science.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, 9/11 was an inside job. You know, like
Mom.
But yeah, I work with them once a year to help them raise money, just because like they're a very small organization that has no help and support, and they're just trying to keep everything from like old original documents and photos to, you know, builds of games that, you know, disappeared or whatever it may be.
What is the thing in like video game preservation that is like the fastest depreciating, that like people want to preserve but is just sort of being lost to the winds?
So there's a few. The biggest one is original artworks for press releases.
Oh, okay.
So you're Nintendo and you have a certain thing to like press release for Wind Waker HD, like Wind Waker, what do they do? Like nowadays when I work with Nintendo, it's like an intern that's like opening up a Word doc and typing out like a greetings traveler, welcome to the world of Hyrule. Like it's very like, oh, you went to college and you made this. This is very nice. Thank you. So, but back in the day it was like, someone wrote copy, and it was like on parchment paper that was like folded in a cool envelope that had Hyrule Hylian written all over it, and like looked like it was weathered, and it would come with like, you know, in a cool like mailbag case from Ocarina of Time, and so it was like a very cool thing. So a lot of companies, they kind of put their stock in these big marketing campaigns, and those marketing campaigns would be very like fleeting, right? They'd be very like, you know, like we're gonna do one or two things and that's it, and then you're not there for that event, you didn't know it happened, and then it just goes away because someone was like, hey, can I keep this? Or hey, just throw it away, it's not important. But someone spent all this time and money trying to figure out how to promote the new God of War, the new thing. And at the time, and nowadays companies are a bit better, they're not worried about the things they're keeping, right? Most of the employees are the ones that keep it. So, for instance, like the guys at Rare who made Conquer and Donkey Kong Country and whatnot, like they kept all their documents. And so they're on Twitter now, and they're like being like, hey guys, look at this original drawing of Donkey Kong that I made back when we were working on Donkey Kong Country. They were supposed to give it back to Nintendo, but instead they kept it because they're like, I made this, and it's just going to go in a box that no one will ever see. So the idea is that those documents, those original like developer documents, as well as like press releases and marketing campaigns, people see that as trash. They're just like, oh, throw it away. Or, you know, we have the important stuff, which is the finals. Yeah. Or it's in the magazine, so it's in print forever. But that's stuff that goes away. And so that's the stuff they're trying their best to preserve. They get a call. They get a bunch of calls whenever a game company goes under. They're like, hey, this game company is going under, and this is their office. You have until Monday, go. And so they'll fly out to a location, and they'll have like 4 or 5 days to get like a storage unit, and just everything they think is important, they'll put in boxes and put it in the unit and take it back to San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
Holy crap. Yeah,
and they do it all out of pocket. They have like no benefactor. It's just them.
Love the game.
They're not selling merch. Like they're just it's a you know 501 FC or C, so it's like a true grassroots campaign. Wow. And
they don't sell merch, but they do literally preserve merch.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
And so I've been friends with Kelsey Irwin, who's been on the board for many years. And so during COVID, I was like, I think I want to help you guys because like this is really important to me, and it's obviously we're not like raising money for cancer research or dementia research, but like this stuff that like people years from now are going to forget about. Like this is cool stuff that is really rad. And so this was our 3rd year in doing it. We've raised over like $175,000 for them, and for them it's huge because they're able to hire more people and spend money on bigger campaigns to help consolidate.
I like how you say, yeah, it's not like we're raising money for cancer or dementia research, but you literally do that.
Exactly.
Also.
I do that too. But people, the thing is though, is that the rhetoric is different, right? Like when I'm talking about, oh, I'm raising money for dementia research or cancer research or water.org, everyone's like, yes, those are all important things. I'd love to, you know, American Heart Association or Diabetes Association in America. Yeah, I want to support that. And I'm like, hey, I'm raising money for the Video Game History Foundation. Everyone's like, why? I don't care about
the original Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller.
Yeah, right.
To be preserved.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously.
Yeah, I agree.
One of the cool things we did at Preserved Play this year, which was so freaking cool, was that Frank and Kelsey went to Thomas Paine, who was one of the original artists on Sonic 2.
Oh shit!
So Sonic 2 was made in America. It was not a Japanese team that made Sonic 2. It was an American team that worked with Japanese developers in the States. Sonic 1, Sonic CD, and I think Sonic 3 were all made in Japan. So Sonic 2 was like the outlier that was like made by the American team, and they had a bunch of American artists who were working with these Japanese developers. And so Thomas Paine had over 500 documents of original Sonic 2 stuff that he never showed anyone. And so he let Frank keep the originals and scan them all. And so he has them all. And a part of our incentive for raising money was, hey, every time we hit a big goal, Frank will reveal a piece of art from this historic backup.
Holy crap.
And someone donated so much money that we were able to find that in his documents, cut levels from Sonic 2 that never made it. Just they were all done and designed, and someone had to mathematically figure out how they all pieced together. And so as we were raising money, he was like, I'm going to figure it out. And so lo and behold, he rebuilt a whole level from scratch. Ooh. And we debuted it on the stream.
Wow.
And it was really cool. Like that's the thing that we did because he preserved that. He's able to tell the world, hey, these levels from Sonic that didn't make it are now out in the public. And so now fans can not only see it, but because the Sonic community is so rad, they're going to now, I'm sure someone's out there rebuilding those levels in Sonic fan-made engines to make that level real. Like that's kick ass. It's so cool.
Crazy.
That's so cool. But have you seen Case read the news in a wig on Twitch?
Oh,
I have.
Yeah, I do that.
You're always in the background for me. I'm always watching.
Yes.
You're my
Guys, put me in your background.
Yes, you're always there. You're always there.
Yeah.
So you went from writer / lube chef /
Lube chef is definitely an occupation.
Yeah, what was your Bane?
Ass double.
Ass double. Wait, what's the other one?
What was the Bane character?
Bane character. The Roodler?
The Roodler. The
Did you just say
Roodler.
Bane?
I thought it was Bane because I thought
right
you were
on the same
doing
level.
this, Batman.
The Riddler?
The Riddler, yeah. But he was more Bane-like.
Yeah.
For the 10 people that saw it, you know what we're talking about.
Weren't you
Oh,
in
yeah.
a bathrobe?
I was, but not just for that. Yeah.
Many
Oh.
things.
Case just
Okay.
My job at G4 was technically writer, but if you didn't see it, I was just in a lot of... I was on the side of many things, being like a semi-nude character.
You should have been getting paid a talent fee.
That would have been nice. But hey, the best talents are free. You just give them away.
No.
Is that how that works out here? Actually, since leaving G4, I have discovered that's not how that works out
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
No,
You don't just get money.
unfortunately not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you do if
They
you
pay
if you
you,
ask.
yeah.
Yeah, they
You
pay you.
ask for it and
Yeah.
show up.
If
Yeah.
you're, so how's the Twitch streaming life been going for you? Because you've been doing that, and you're still doing.
I do a
the
lot of
back
freelance
feed.
editing and writing, and then I stream with Fiona Nova, another G4 host. I've taken a few days off over the last week, so maybe the wrong time to promote myself. But I do that, and then I do a stream where sort of like a one-man news team is sort of the gimmick. I basically green screen myself to have conversations with myself by cutting between me and me with a bunch of Snapchat filters on. Which that is exactly what I'm doing. I really don't know how else to describe it.
I gotta say, you sold the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I hope you know that like you're doing very well.
Oh, yeah?
It's like on the Twitch metric scale, you're competing with partners. Like you're doing great.
Nice. Tell everyone I'm doing well. I don't know. It's been very fun. I was just trying to basically find a way to stream that I enjoy, and it turns out arguing with myself. Except in one frame, I'm a weird giant-chinned moose. That's my kink.
That's a Snapchat filter.
There's so many just baffling Snapchat filters. And it turns out with a Stream Deck, you can just cross-cut. You can just reverse shot yourself.
It's crazy the technology that we have nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be like the next Ludwig? Do you want to be the next big streamer? You want to be the next Pokimane?
I want to be the next Miss Kev. I'm going
Expand on
straight Miss.
Expand on that.
I've got a pass I can give you after the show.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
If I get enough ruby red juice and the right context, I think I can do it.
Okay.
I'm talking red lips, blue eyes, can't lose.
What was Cassie's
The
obsession?
Homelander.
Yeah.
What? Oh, he's in the middle of trying to decide if he wants to lie down or stay up straight. And he's gonna stay.
I
up
can't
straight.
steal Kassem's gimmick. His gimmick is trying to start a beef with Miss Kev.
Yeah. Have you seen the show Beef?
No.
Oh, racist. So you hate Asians?
Beef. Yes, I have.
Is that
Beef
how
on
racism
Netflix.
works in LA? You just say, "Oh, you didn't watch the show. You're now racist."
Yeah.
I forgot.
Have you seen Beef?
I forgot that
I
it was
watched
called
the
Beef.
trailer for Beef.
I've actually seen all
Half
of Beef.
racist.
Racist.
I'm racist for not remembering the title, but I have seen the whole show.
Okay. No, actually, it's more racist because you watched the trailer and didn't go, "Wow, I would love to see."
You know there is such a thing as maybe this thing isn't for me.
Because you're racist.
No.
Well, did you see
full
the
prime
show?
example G4. Wasn't for a
you're
lot of
sexist.
folks.
Although I'll say the trailer for Beef didn't get me like that excited for it, but then I thought it was really good. Like just from watching the first episode.
Look at her. She's gone. She's to the
You
moon.
got her.
The show is definitely better than the trailer.
Yeah.
It's really
I
good.
like the actors. I think Ali Wong is amazing.
Just be careful which one you like.
What is that? Because
One
you
of
can't
them-
tell them apart?
No. One of them got into some hot water. We don't have to
course.
get into it
Right, yeah,
necessarily.
like 9 years ago, but it's back.
Yeah, it's
because of
back.
Twitter.
Which one? Who got in trouble?
The guy-
the older brother, the cousin who goes to jail, Roy.
Yeah, but he played the asshole so well, so I wouldn't be surprised
I
if he was
know.
an asshole
So
in
because
real
he's an
life.
asshole in real life, you're okay with it?
But then it got all of the other stars in trouble too.
It
Anyway,
makes
that's
his
Twitter.
acting even better.
Racist.
No, misogynist.
Racist.
Misogynist.
Either way, it's an ist of some kind.
We'll get your ist right.
Pugilist.
What What does that mean?
It's a boxer.
A martial artist.
Actually, wait. So post G4, listen, so many people have like changed their lives. Is this where we finally see the completionist enter the fucking WWE ring?
I have been trying to
You've been
find
so
my way.
close to it.
As a
I've been
wrestler?
So close.
What?
I want to see him be a wrestler. I know nothing about the fucking wrestling community except for Taya is amazing and Woods is fucking fantastic, and the other ones that I've met just like walking through the G4 hallways are also really cool. And I think Jirard's really cool. So can Jirard be a wrestler?
Look, unfortunately, Ovilee, I am, as they say, because it's true, I am obese. I am a large man. I am not in ring shape. If someone came to me and said, here's a WWE contract, you need to shed 130 pounds and get shredded, I would not be here. I would go into a bunker and I would just
shredded though.
at least like be able to do your job.
Action Bronson just did granted, Action Bronson seemed to move around in pretty good shape.
Right, but I mean, like him and Otis are big guys. They can,
Yeah.
you know, they can really do their thing. But like, I'm just an out of shape guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be Otis's body type, no problem. He's a big dude, and
Yeah.
you know, Heavy Machinery was a great group, and he's a good dude. But I wish I could take a bump. I can't, unfortunately. I was born with a very rare blood condition that basically has a benign tumor in my spine. So if I land too hard in the wrong spot, I'll be paralyzed
That's
from the
such
waist
a
down.
good storyline for a match.
I know, right?
That'd be so good.
His
know.
benign tumor's acting up.
Oh my
no.
God, he can't get up. He lost the feeling in his legs. He's somehow working his way through it.
And off the cell!
Oh my God.
Let's get Triple H on the phone.
Yeah.
But I will say, I would kill to be on camera talent in the WWE.
You could be in one of their incredibly cringy backstage segments.
Oh my God, dude! I'd write those segments.
Yeah, I would too.
I'd write them so well.
Yeah.
I'd have so much fun. Freddie Prinze Jr. used to write for the WWE, and he was okay. So, Freddie Prinze Jr.
He did the thing with Gina.
Very
The
good,
D&D thing, yeah.
very good. Do you know what he did before that?
Gina told me he was in a movie. He was in Scooby-Doo.
Yes, he was.
That is certainly a thing
That's
he was in.
one of the last things he did. Yes. For everyone else, he starred in I Know What You Did Last Summer, She's All That, as well as a bunch of other famous teen comedies that we were all growing up with, and that's Sarah Michelle Gellar, who's his wife,
It's Buffy the Vampire.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
He's like a teen heartthrob.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
He used to
I'll
be.
drop it.
Yeah.
I got new glasses.
You want to sit up a
It
little
did
bit so
almost
we can
jump
see
scare
us?
me. I was like, what was that?
I got new glasses. I went glasses shopping. I needed a new prescription, and I
Those
said,
are your new glasses?
these are my new glasses.
Wait a minute. I just have to check something.
No capes.
What are you
Sorry.
checking?
What are you checking?
I just have to do this just to see if what I was about to say is accurate.
Okay, let's hear it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Uh,
back.
Also,
He's back.
Ali Wong has been stealing all my fucking glasses. That bitch.
Like literally, she came in here and stole your glasses.
Look into the camera and call Ali Wong a bitch.
Ali Wong, listen, honey. I know you don't know me, and I don't really know you, except I liked you in Beef. That was pretty cool. But it's fucked up. I started wearing the hexagon frames first, and then you go ahead and you take them. You film
hold
a show.
on.
What?
I think we have someone else who wore the hexagon frames before.
I
you,
just who
Ovilee.
wore it better, Ovilee or the Six Flags mascot from the 90s? I do just That's why when I looked to my right and you put the glasses on, I was like,
Come to Six Flags.
We like to party? What?
We like to party.
and then I was like,
God.
was he wearing glasses or did I imagine that? No, he was wearing those
Oh,
glasses.
here's the glasses, this big bow tie.
His were a little thicker on the sides. Yours are slightly differently
The funny
styled.
thing about that guy is that that's clearly a young man in a bald outfit instead of just hiring a bald dude who's like,
No.
Well, they can't hire an old guy to dance that hard. That's unethical.
dude.
That's
nowadays?
ageist.
Is it? He's thrown his whole shoulder and everything into it. If you were the age that they're presenting him as, you would just turn into dust if you were dancing that
calling
hard.
someone an ist is making me feel like I can never leave my house or have a camera on me.
It's empowering me.
It's
I'm
testing
like,
your white privilege.
time for some reactionary takes.
Let me show you my privilege. Come on, Ovilee.
I need
my way.
I need a new fan base. That fan base G4 scared away. I'm bringing them back.
I went to my first ever comedy show yesterday.
first one?
I've never been to like a live.
Where was it?
It was at the Pantages Theater.
Okay.
Okay,
In
so
Hollywood.
not just a comedy show at like the Laugh Factory. You went and saw a professional comedian sell out a theater. Okay.
Yeah, sold out.
Who was the theater? Or who's the person?
Taylor Tomlinson.
Do either of you guys know who that is?
Yes.
Before we continue. Okay.
My ex
I-
opened for her.
Huh?
Sorry. I know
Your
my-
ex opened for her?
some people in Chicago I know open for her.
You dropped that name right though, real quick. You want to pick that up? Sorry.
Did she have a Netflix special?
Multiple.
I think I've seen at least one or two of them.
Her humor is very much depressed, anxiety-ridden millennial Gen Z girl.
Okay.
Okay.
Very much. Love it.
So you two guys, right? Basically.
So me.
Okay.
So you
Love
basically
it.
saw
Listen.
me.
It's
As a
around me.
content creator, I identify with that, okay?
Yeah. Dude, oh my God. She was so freaking good. So that was the first time. And I was a little nervous about going because I was like, I don't know. I usually have difficulty hearing things. I don't want to show up to a show and not be able to like hear what's going on. Because I'm used to going to esports events where the production is not always fantastic and you have to guess what they're saying. But she was so good. And the person who opened for her was like a dad of like 3 kids or something traveling around. And it was hilarious. And it was such a fun experience.
Live comedy. I recommend it, guys.
Yeah.
It was how I spent most of my time for about 12 years.
Yeah.
When do you get back on stage?
I don't know. I probably should. I do have a theory that if you don't do live comedy, but you claim to be a comedy writer, you're probably fucking up and getting worse. So I am getting worse at what
That's
I
not
purport
true.
to be my
No,
job.
no, that's not true. Because to me, a good comedy writer is someone who can just be funny in the moment.
True. But I do think like it's a good like True North kind of deal if you actually make yourself go in front of people and be like, I'm going to attempt to say things that will make you laugh or do things or whatever. And I do think like not having done that in about a year and a half, I'm like, I probably should get back out there. But also, it's just so easy to turn on a camera and sit in front of a green screen.
I know,
Well,
right?
the energy is different though when you're in the room,
It's so
right?
different,
Like when
yeah.
you're in an audience of 200, 300 people plus, and you're just like talking and doing bits, and everyone's laughing.
The LA scene is just a lot different than the Chicago scene. Is the main
Really?
reason I've been like too, I guess lazy is definitely the word.
I don't know the Chicago scene, but I have been in LA long enough to know that like the LA scene just feels like everyone's a comedian and not in like the hyperbolic sense. Like when you go to a show like the Laugh Factory, it's like you sold tickets to be that. Like, I had tickets to sell to my friends. My 30 friends are in the room. They're laughing at my jokes. And then after my set's done, everyone gets up and goes to the bar.
Yeah.
And then someone else does the same thing right behind me.
It's a little. I think stage time here is a little harder to come by. In Chicago,
For sure.
it's just like everybody who wants to gets on stage, and not even that many people want to. So it's like a very.
It's like an open field.
It's
You
an
can just
open
go up
field,
there.
but it's like people that are really dedicated to it because there's no reward.
Yeah.
So the reward is just doing the show. Out here, there's like very tangible rewards if you can get on stage and do well. And I think that makes stage time like a lot more precious.
Yeah.
Not that there aren't shows that you can get up and like go on stage, but I just think the energy is a little different. Some people, I mean, all of my Chicago friends think Chicago has, of course, way better comedy than they have out here. That's very silly, probably. I think it's roughly the same pools of talent just spreading around everywhere. But I do think like functionally, it's a little different out here.
I feel like social media has also changed the necessity of doing the formal comedian stuff. Like, you can tell the difference between a person who identifies as a comedian on Twitter versus someone who's on TikTok being funny. There are two distinct vibes.
Sure.
And I think people are conflating the two together, right? Like, you could be like, oh, I'm going to go see this TikToker perform a comedy bit in person. Then you watch them and you're like, oh, I'd rather just watch it on my phone because there's the editing's not there, the pacing's not there. Whereas a true comedian has stage presence in every clip you've seen, has the ability to tell jokes and talk at the same time.
There's like some of the best comedians I've ever seen have barely any online presence. They're just sort of like stage addicts, basically. They just love actually performing in front of crowds. But
that's also the hustle, right? Like, hey, I'm performing the Comedy Store on Wednesday, and then Laugh Factory on Thursday, and then Friday I'm in Ontario. And it's like you have to have that comedy hustle culture of like constantly being on tour to hone your craft.
Damn.
I don't think I'd ever be like a truly good stand-up because the best ones have like a compulsion to do it. Like they wouldn't just take a year and a half off because they're like, I want to do other things.
Yeah.
They like, they really, I just mean it. I've met a lot of people that are like, they just fucking have to be on stage 4 or 5 times a week.
Holy
And I like to be on stage, and I'm like, ooh, and it helps my writing, but it's different than like the ones I know who are like really, really good.
Jeez.
You've got to be a fucking psycho and a terrible person.
It's true. It's true. As someone who
That's what they say for esports.
yeah.
as someone who does a one man stand up show, yes, you have to be psychotic and crazy, and just go balls to the wall.
Jeez.
I mean, there's plenty of good stand-ups that don't perform, but I just think like the best ones I've seen do seem to like they really want to be up there, as opposed to like I'm trying to build up the desire to do it. So if you're not out there like already fucking killing yourself
Dude,
on stage, you don't even fucking want it, dude.
What do you know?
Get
You
on
gotta
that grind,
bro.
Get on that fucking hustle.
It's that LA
comedy grind.
hustle culture, bro.
What are you even doing?
What are you even doing?
Yo, if you sell tickets using crypto, then those tickets live forever.
Yeah, and then if you get the digital NFT tickets, then it's a double dose
If
of
the
crypto
show's
NFT.
good, the value goes up because
Yeah,
it's like
the
a
show's
collector's
good.
item.
F up, comedy up, baby. I don't make up the rules. I just play the game.
ChatGPT can write prompts that will generate you art that you can
You
then
don't
make
even
jokes
need
out
to
of.
be funny, dude. ChatGPT does it for you.
Anyway,
That's comedy in the 2023, baby.
everything's changed, man.
Everything's changed. COVID changed us, man.
Dude, COVID. Thresh, please don't hit the camera. He's sleepwalking and he's
Aw.
kicking the camera and is,
Oh, he's having a dream.
I know.
He's
he's
adding more
having little-
dynamic angles.
Mommy, please take off the helmet. I hate it.
He gets his stitches out tomorrow and then he'll be a free dog.
He's almost there.
Oh my god. My neighbor, okay. The house right there has been vacant for like a year. But last week I finally got a new neighbor and I met her by going outside into my backyard and seeing her sitting on my fence about to jump into my yard.
Yeah.
Go on.
So like I'm streaming last week and I'm just kind of sitting at my computer and my phone rings and I have like a Ring doorbell and I look just to see who it is because I'm like, I didn't order delivery and I just check what it is. And I see this young woman just like walk up frantic, like stressed, going like this. She's there for like 15, 20 seconds and then she runs back away. And I'm like, that's weird. So I'm like, I'm going to go check on that. I walk outside. No one's there.
Gone.
No one's there. So I was like, okay, weird. So I go to check on Thresh, who has just regained his outdoor privileges again.
Nice.
Because this is post-ear surgery. We had to make sure that it was healed up a little bit. And I walk out there and I see the new neighbor, same woman who was on the doorbell cam, about to jump into my yard. And I'm like, hello? And she says, oh, sorry, my mom's dog got into your yard. And now I'm going, what the fuck? There's another dog in my yard with my dog? And Thresh, he's a big boy. He's a German Shepherd, but he goes to doggy daycare. He's friends with people. The only time where he's like, not, I'm going to be your friend, is if he thinks that someone's trying to attack mommy. So he's in the backyard and he's just standing over this small little like toy poodle type thing, right? Where it's like got that curls and those fluff. And I'm looking at Thresh and I'm looking at that dog and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then the toy poodle goes, har, 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 har. And Thresh is like, not in my fucking yard. So Thresh goes, hoof. And the dog just goes, hype, 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 and starts running back and forth in the backyard. And now Thresh is like, you fucked with my mom. So now he's chasing the dog. He's not attacking. He just groaned. He's like, you're telling this story again? So now he's like chasing the dog. He's not biting it. He might punch it a little bit, but he's just chasing the dog. And the woman is screaming. The woman's mom, I look over, and she's also trying to climb the fence on the other side. This is just like one little fence. It's 6 feet tall, but it's not like that freaking sturdy. So I have two women on my fence. My dog is like going, and this tiny little, so I'm like, okay. I grab Thresh. I put him inside, and I go back out there, and I'm barefoot, and I pick up this small little dog, right? And they're like, oh, we can come get it. I'm like, no, just stay on your side of the fence, and let me pick up this dog. Does it bite? They're like, no, he doesn't bite. I'm like, okay. So I pick up this tiny little thing. It's just shaking.
Because Thresh is giant compared to this dog.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. It's like if I was standing next to an elephant. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
shit. I'm sure you're very nice, but you're kind of fucking huge.
Yeah.
And so I hand the dog to the woman, and then she's all like, oh, thank you. And I'm like, yeah, you might want to, put chicken wire or something under the fence so the dog doesn't come out again. Because as I'm handing this dog to the woman, there's another one, like another Shih Tzu type thing, with a kind of looks like a rat dog. It was sticking its head under, and I'm like, that dog can get under my fence too, because they had just done all this new landscaping. So I'm like, woman, what the fuck? Just put some like chicken wire under there. I went over there like an hour or two later after I finished my stream, and no one would answer the door. And I'm like, we have to exchange contact information or something, because I can't just have like another fucking woman trying to jump into my yard. What was the thought process? Hop in and hop back out when you see a large dog?
Yeah, I'm going to just trespass on your property. No big deal.
What the fuck?
Well, to be fair, to their credit, they did hit the doorbell to say hello and try and get the dog.
For 20 seconds.
And then they panicked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
panicked and
social
ran.
anxiety kicked in hard.
Definitely
Yeah.
panic. Definitely.
And
Yeah.
I get it, because like if anything happened to Thresh, I would kick a fence down, right? Like I would.
But I would not wait 20 seconds at a door.
I would.
Yeah, you would throw yourself over that fence.
Oh, I'm breaking through it. But if I look over and I see 2 giant Rottweilers,
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely are going to kind of go, how do I get out of this?
how do I do this?
Bring peanut
Yeah.
butter for
How
the
much
dogs.
do I love this?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll let this one go.
Oh,
Yeah.
God's
yeah.
plan. Bless up.
But yeah.
God's plan.
He had a good long life.
Yeah.
So
Go
yeah,
to
that
the
was my
G4 building in
crazy.
the sky.
Aw.
That was my crazy dog story, but he's fine.
Whoa, G4 should have been a religious thing. All 4 G's stand for God.
Oh, I always said
It's not too
for
late.
I said this before G4 came back, and when it came back, I got to secretly say it again. G4 to me always stood for gaming, God, guns, gaming.
Oh, wrapped it back around. A little
Yeah.
gaming
I
sandwich.
thought you were gonna say gone.
Now it went away in that order. It was gaming, God, guns, gone.
Gone.
I like gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss,
Oh,
but that's only
that's
3.
only 3. They just misspelled boss.
Gone.
Gone. There we
There you
go.
go.
Gone, yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
The
Every girl boss needs a
easiest
gun.
thing that we can do. When's the next big cream team thing?
I want to do
Are you on the cream team? I don't understand.
Are you an
Yes.
official cream?
I thought you're on the cream
what is
team.
it? What does it mean to be a cream team?
I
Yeah,
don't
I thought you were
know. I have
creamy.
no. Everyone's always like the cream team's running it, dude, and I'm like, I don't know what you just said to me about the cream team.
I'm a creamy assistant, I guess. But we also do a podcast on Fridays that sometimes Kevin Pereira shows up to.
It's called the Cream Team Dream Stream.
Cream Team Dream
Is
Stream.
that still on Twitter Spaces?
I finally convinced them to move it.
To Discord.
Well, and Fiona convinced them to move it to Twitch, and then it's also going to be on podcast. But I don't
Good.
know if it's there yet. It probably is.
All right.
But
So go
chances-
subscribe.
Chances are the cream team is watching this right now.
they could be.
They probably are.
I think Kevin secretly watches everything I do.
Aww.
And because it's not true, he'll never know that I said
Like,
that.
like in your house?
yeah,
Like-
yeah. I think my Ring cameras
Oh, Kevin.
are all Kevin.
you
miss
gave him
KP.
your login.
Yeah, I would.
I miss KP
like to
very
be
much. We gotta talk about esports for like 2 seconds
Yes.
on the non-esports podcast. MSI starts tomorrow, but by the time this comes out, it started yesterday. Golden Guardians.
Isn't MSI like a
graphics card.
graphics card and motherboard manufacturing company?
Yes.
So this is their event.
No.
No.
Do they sponsor the event?
No, but they should.
Invitational.
Mid-season invitational.
Mid-season invitational.
That being said,
Yeah.
marketing.
MSI, come on. MSI sponsors the MSI.
There's like no sponsors in esports right now. Everyone's pulling out.
There's
in the recession.
no sponsors in YouTube in general unless you're Manscaped or Dollar Shave Club or whatever.
So how do we make money on YouTube?
Let me tell you how everyone should be running away from YouTube. No, right now,
OnlyFans.
But everyone should be running away from Twitch. Everyone should be running away from YouTube.
Well, I've
Everyone
also
should be
heard-
running away from TikTok.
I've heard short form content is about to take a hit because it's impossible to monetize properly or something.
the only way you can monetize is if a commercialized company comes in and pays you, the creator, which is not a creator economy ecosystem.
Well, I heard it's difficult for like the actual companies to monetize. Like Facebook's pulling out of short form content. Yada yada
I
yada.
mean, look, it's a rough time. The recession is hitting the gaming landscape in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Right. Like I've lost several sponsors. In the beginning, I lost sponsors because of G4. Now I'm losing sponsors because of the recession. Patreon numbers are lower than ever because everyone is losing their jobs or is changing their lives or whatever it may be. It will get better, but like as a collective, us content creators and influencers and Twitch streamers or whatever, we're going to go through a period where we're going to have to really hope that a sponsor shows up and can support. And the numbers are still there, but the value of the ad and the value of sponsorships is getting smaller and smaller.
Do you think we could all go find content sugar daddies? Just find someone with like a crap ton of money.
Look,
to
We got to
fund our
do it like,
content
to
dream?
speak of Steven Crowder, again, conservative content creators, reactionary psychos, they do not do incredible numbers and they get paid so much for that very reason, that they have these fucking psycho heritage fund style like backers that will pay like a Steven Crowder who does okay numbers, but not insane numbers. They offered him like a $50 million contract to work for like some Truth Social equivalent. I can't
I'll be
even remember.
racist
I'm
for $50 million.
I'm out. I quit.
I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he didn't take it or something insane. I was reading up on Steven Crowder, which is why he's so on my brain.
I'll be all
Obviously, I'm a
in
huge
for
fan.
$50 million. Are you kidding me?
I just think it's crazy. Like if you're in like the conservative commentator space, you can get like 100,000 viewers and make millions of dollars.
Dude, fuck.
But that's what
Should we
everyone
be
thinks.
racist?
There is money in it. It turns.
I
out.
mean, per this podcast, we already are. So
Oh yeah. What does Sonic say again? How does Sega say that?
Oh, no.
We're just gonna bleep that one out.
that one's not going to make the cut.
I called my mom racist last week in the episode.
How'd that work?
She sent me an essay in text messages.
Oh, you know you've hit a nerve when that
Where
happens.
she says specifically, this is weird though, because the point that I made was I would watch anime downstairs. This is important. Anime is in Japanese, right?
With subtitles.
With subtitles, yes. And my Japanese mother, this is also important, my Japanese mother would walk downstairs, and as I'm watching anime in the family room, she would go, waka chaka cha, ching chong, waka chaka cha. And I'm going like, bitch, you're Japanese.
Doesn't she speak Japanese?
No, clearly
your
not.
mom does not speak Japanese.
No. My
Born
grandparents
in
don't even
California.
speak Japanese. I'm the only one in my family who could speak like elementary level Japanese.
What if she saw a wok, then she saw someone doing the cha-cha. She looked back at the wok, and she was
Waka
just
cha-cha,
describing her
waka
thought
cha-cha.
process.
And there was a Honda Civic.
Yeah, there's a Honda Civic.
a guy named Chan.
So yeah, she sent me a very angry text message saying, "Don't call me out in public." And
you
then
know
she
she's
said,
going to do it again.
"I don't care," because then she says,
Hi,
"I'll have
Mom.
you know."
I'm sorry about your daughter.
Dude, your parents at a certain age, there's no telling them what.
Hey, for what it's worth, I've been doing this for 12 years. My dad still can't tell anyone what I do. I told him that I was an executive at a company. He didn't know how to describe the company. I was on a TV show. He told me he watched it. He didn't. My sister.
It was on the TV. Though.
True story. My sister, she sends me a message. He goes, Jirard, God of Work was so good. And I was like, oh, wow. Thank you. That means so much. She goes, oh, yeah. You know, that Fight Club thing you did in that one episode was really funny. I sat there and I was like, that happened in the first minute and a half of the show. And I was like,
Well, you can't help it if the
this
best
is
part's up
well,
top.
like it's an hour and a half long show or 6-7 episodes. So I tested her and I was like, what was your favorite episode?
Oh no.
Ooh.
And she went silent and she was like, what was your favorite episode?
Smart.
And so I said, oh, my favorite episode is when we brought in the anaconda and Kratos wrestles the anaconda and my arm gets bitten off and blood
pretty
goes
good.
everywhere. And then Mario comes in with a machete and cuts off the anaconda, but he was attached to my arm. So I have no arms and now I have no arms and I have to use the blades of chaos to like live my life.
That sounds pretty good though.
And
Troy.
she was like,
I actually want to watch that. episode.
Yeah, I'm
and
down.
she was like, oh, that episode was so funny, Jirard. It was so good. The CGI was so like, how'd you guys do that? And I was like,
Damn.
oh, I wore green screen on my arms. For those of you who don't know, that's not a plot point in God of Work.
No.
Not at all.
Did not happen.
My family.
You just gained viewers and then lost viewers.
I started 100+ episodes of televised X-Play that my family didn't even watch one.
Well,
They were
didn't know where
like,
to find it.
they didn't know where to find, even though it was on every TV syndication.
If those
supposedly.
meetings were me to believe.
Yeah, but
Our reach was unstoppable.
I'm pretty sure they don't even know what the Completionist does.
That's
They're like, you do YouTube. And I'm like, that's all I do is I'm YouTube man.
He completes a game a week.
80 million
Everyone knows
homes.
that.
True. It's true.
Well, hey, at
81
least
million
they
homes.
watched the first minute. It's pretty good. That's longer than
They
some
didn't come.
TikTok.
They didn't come to my live show.
Oh, they didn't.
Oh.
No, my dad did, and it was hard for him to watch the show. He had to leave.
Because it's so about him.
He's in it.
Yeah. It's the show. I do a one-man show called The Completionist Legacy, and it's about how my life is the way that it is because of my father, and how that no matter what I do, I am going to be his living legacy. And I play him in the show. Like I have like it's almost like I like play all the characters in the show, so I like sidebar and become him. And whenever I do impressions of him, he like had to leave the room because it was like too much for him.
Yeah.
But he came in for the very end, and the end like made him cry. And then like
Aw.
in the opening bit, I had this bit about how when I was 14, I was introducing my girlfriend, my very first serious girlfriend, to my dad for the first time, and I emphasized that if you fuck up the handshake, our relationship is over. And she was like, "No, it's fine." So they like shook hands, and my dad was like, "One more time, go outside, try one more time, restart, reboot, go, one more time." And she was like, "What? One more time outside, please, go outside, go restart." And so I'd go back
Jirard's
outside.
dad is Japanese, by the way. So he
Very
can-
yeah. I'm allowed to do that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, the Japanese port of Lebanon. They're all kind of right there. And so in the end, he ends up calling my girlfriend dead fish, based on how she doesn't know how to. She like does this. Like, you shake hand like dead fish.
Dude, that is rough though.
Dead
That's a
fish.
rough
It's
choice.
not the good thing.
And you warned her to do a good handshake.
Oh,
and she still did that?
I taught her how to do it. It's like the 3 pump firm grip, and she got called dead fish for our 4 years of us being in a relationship. My dad would just go, "Oh yeah, dead fish, welcome to our home. You want the tea?" Like would always do that. After the show is over, because the show ends up like making my dad look like $1 million, and I put my dad over, and everyone loves it. Afterwards, like there was 300 people in the audience that like wanted to shake my dad's hand to see if that they could do the hand test.
Ooh.
And it was my dad's first time feeling like a celebrity.
Nice.
And so afterwards he was like, "Okay, so I didn't watch the show. I saw the beginning and I saw the end,
So honestly, you gotta love that.
but I shook a lot of hands. And let me tell you, they don't know how to shake hand. But I got to judge them, and that's important." I was like, "Thanks, Dad. Appreciate it."
That's
Yeah,
so sweet.
I think once I figured out, well, it was not hard to figure out. I was like, I don't think my dad's gonna want to watch me do comedy, and I'm not gonna make him. But he was there once, and my mom loved to come see me do shows
Yeah.
because it was like a children's pageant. She's like, "Look at him up there, yay!" It didn't
Yes.
matter what I was doing.
Yes.
But my dad had to watch me do improv once, which improv is improv, guys.
Whew, it's tough.
Oh gosh.
And afterwards, he just went, "Well, hey, buddy, really glad you're having fun up there."
Wow. My dad. So
Which
my
is the most accurate improv review you can get, honestly.
You
My-
look like you had a good time.
Yeah, it was really fun for you.
my drama teacher in high school and college, both of them said, "Don't bring your dad to the shows anymore," because my dad went to one of my shows in college, one of my shows in high school, and it was enough to set the tone for why he's not allowed to go to the shows. When I was a sophomore in high school, I did the show Oklahoma, and I played the villain Judd Fry, who was like a like homeless looking guy, very gruff, like very socially all not there, like obsesses with like about shiny objects and like objectifies women a little too creepily. And so this character tragically dies, and then like everyone basically debates whether or not it was self-defense, and then the show's over. It's kind of like the bad guy's dead, who cares, let's move on and celebrate about love, life, and babies. But there's a moment in the show where as he's about to die, the main character and this character fight. And so I, being a sophomore in high school and like in good shape, like practiced and did stage combat. So we're doing this scene, and the entire time it's dead silent, because you can tell it's a musical, right? Everyone's laughing and singing along and enjoying it. And then there's this one intense fight scene where these dudes fight each other. And the entire time the fight's happening, all you hear is like full volume laughing.
Yeah.
And I know exactly where it's my dad. He's laughing as I'm getting my ass whooped. And then I get stabbed with a knife and I die and fall over, and there's just a beat of silence, and you just hear him get up and go,
shit.
like laughing hysterically, and afterwards he was like, "Oh, that was so gay, but oh my god, oh my god, this was so funny when you died. You got stabbed with. Oh, it was so good, Jirard. Oh, it was gay, but oh, it was so funny."
Wow.
It's
Literally, everyone was like, "Your dad cannot come back to our shows," and he never did.
Do you appreciate someone? I mean, I both hate it, but also I'm kind of impressed when someone just does not give a fuck about anyone else's viewing experience. It's like,
No.
Just good. Yeah, whatever.
No, that's-
That's just how I feel.
Magic Johnson Theater. Yeah.
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 That's why I talk in movies, because I'm an awful person.
Ooh, speaking of Mario, that was one of the loudest experiences I've been to at a movie because it was full of kids that were just talking full volume.
Oh,
Ew,
whoa.
why wouldn't you see like a midnight showing? For
I
that?
should have. I went Friday. I didn't even realize it was opening weekend. I was like, sure, let's see Mario. And I was like, why is it so crowded? And then it was just all families, all of the children.
And you're
just
the
like,
weird
yay!
Okay, to wrap this though. Oh my god, are those Snorlax socks?
These are Snorlax socks.
I got KK
It's a
Slider socks
great
on.
way to end the show.
Yeah.
Snorlax versus KK Slider.
Socks. Where can we find more Completionists? And are you going to be completing Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah, I'm completing Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, he's completing Tears of the
can- you
Kingdom.
just-
You
You
gonna
don't-
wear the shirt?
You gonna wear the
Yeah.
shirt?
You gonna wear the
Yeah.
I'm
shirt?
gonna wear the shirt. Yeah.
Okay, be good and wear the shirt.
I'm gonna
for
wear the
us.
shirt. Yeah.
Okay.
The shirt story's not in the podcast.
No,
That's
it's not.
good. Don't worry
No.
about it. Don't worry about it.
Guys, if you don't want to see my dumb face, do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel.
No, go
Hey.
subscribe to the
The
Completionist.
Completionist
Let me-
on
He
YouTube
purchased-
and Twitch.
Every single game in the DS shop and the
3DS and Wii U.
and the Wii U shop.
Yeah.
Go give him
So,
money.
in honor of that, please subscribe to this channel.
Go give him money. Go give him money.
Subscribe to this channel. A lot of you guys are not subscribed. You just watch it and search for it every week. But I know the analytics. Just hit subscribe.
Ring the bell.
Crazy.
Ring the bell.
Smash that like
Ring
button.
Smash that.
Or,
Drop
or
a
if,
comment.
If that's too much for you and you're like, we get it, Jirard, you're supporting Ovilee, go watch Case on Twitch.
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah,
There
watch
you
Case.
go.
Smash that
Comment.
Case button.
Case, where can we find you?
Smash that Case button.
I'm Case Blackwell on Twitch and YouTube, and I'm planning to get a little more YouTubey with it.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm gonna board this dying ship
Let's
and
get
sink
weird
with
with
the
it.
rest of us.
Let's do it.
He wrote the anime rap that I
did.
did with them.
The entire Cream Team Cypher.
I did.
Yeah,
I did
it
write
was
those
really
reps.
good.
Thank
Really
you.
freaking good. I can't believe how quick you came up
I
with
think
that
we're gonna do
stuff.
another one.
Oh.
If either of you are in the mood to drop some bars.
Just let me know.
Okay.
I'm there.
I
Let
will.
us know.
Let's do it.
Everyone comment in the YouTube chat what you think Case's feet smell like or taste like. Let us know.
It surprised you. It's not what you first think.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm interested for this. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.